Good morning, taste buds. Happy Passover. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, and today I've got a menu for Passover. Join me today as I give you recipes good for Passover and any other family gatherings here on SoFlo Taste. How fun is that? Good morning, all. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, coming to you from the Goya Kitchen at J World in beautiful downtown Coconut Creek. And happy Pesach, or happy festival, happy holidays, or happy Passover. Passover is the major Jewish spring festival which commemorates the liberation of the Israelites from Egyptian slavery. So today I thought it would be appropriate to give you some more of my go-to favorite Passover recipes. And you'll also find they're good anytime. So let's get cooking. First thing I wanted to make you is called a Kugel. I'm gonna make you a mushroom Kugel. So let's start beating up some eggs. And this does have dairy in it, so I'm gonna be serving fish to go with it that I'll teach you later. Mix up those eggs really good. We're gonna break up, this is some salty matzah. We're gonna break that up a little bit and go ahead and pour this into the eggs and let them soak. Matter of fact, I'm gonna sit this on top to let them soak. I'm gonna force them. All right, I'm gonna add some oil and butter to this pan, and we're gonna cook some shiitake mushrooms. And I also have some oyster mushrooms here, so you can really make it with whatever mushrooms you happen to find at the store. And if you're gonna make a dish that's all about the mushroom, make sure that you have more than one type of mushroom in there, right? So if you love button mushrooms, which are also called field mushrooms, you can use them, or you can use portobellos, creminis, it's really up to you. So you can make this dairy-free if you want to, if you're serving meat for Passover. Obviously, you would just take away whatever's dairy in the recipe, and I'm sure it'll still be delicious. All right, as the mushrooms cook, let's go and give them what we chefs call aromatics, right? So we're gonna do some minced garlic, some minced shallots. I've got sliced leeks. Leeks are some of my favorite things on earth. They're just delicious. It's in the onion family, and these have just been sliced lengthwise and sliced into half moons. I'm going to move around my matzah a little bit to make sure that everything is getting soaked into the egg, and then put this back down into it. Let's go ahead and move around our mixture. So for one of the liquids, I've actually made a porcini broth. So I bought some dried porcinis, soaked them in a little bit of vegetable broth. You can also do the same thing with water. And we're going to use the broth for this mixture, but I'm also going to use the porcinis that have been soaking and are now nice and soft. So I'm going to go and cut these maybe in thirds. So let's squeeze out the juice and just give these a little chop. And we'll mix these into our now cooking mushrooms. So now we've got kind of a fancy mushroom kugel with our porcinis. Once everything is nice and softened, like the leeks are really nice and soft, the onions and the mushrooms have cooked, let's go ahead and add the porcini water. The other thing I really felt like this needed was a nice amount of thyme and rosemary. Such beautiful, strong herbs that go really well with these flavors. So let's go ahead and chop these up. These are the leaves from the rosemary and the thyme. And then lastly, I wanted to put some kind of a green vegetable, a leafy vegetable, into my mix. So I decided on kale. I happen to grow kale in my front yard, and I had this gorgeous dinosaur kale, and just cut the kale into like a nice julienne. So we're gonna put that in here and let that kind of just melt into our mixture. And just so you know, this mixture already smells so beautifully savory. This is just gonna be beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and take a nice dish that can go into a nice hot oven. I've got a little pat of butter in here. I'm just going to rub the butter all around this casserole dish so that things don't stick as much to the dish. All right, so our matzah has really kind of soaked up a lot of this egg. I think what I'll do is I'll strain it out right before we mix it in. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of heavy cream to the mixture, making it even more rich. Let's move this all around to make sure that the kale cooks evenly and the mushrooms cook evenly. The one thing I don't want to forget is salt and pepper. Now, our matzah is seasoned matzah, right? So we don't want to add too much salt, but this is a good amount of mushroom and kale and leek, so I have to add a little bit. Let's add some black pepper to the mix. And the last thing I wanted to add right before I mix it into the matzah is a little bit of sour cream. So I'm going to drain the matzah. Any excess egg will come out. Add the matzah to this bowl, and then I'm going to pour in this gorgeous creamy mushroom mixture to it. Finish it with a little bit of the sour cream. Now, it's not absolutely necessary, but I just thought it would add a little bit of richness, plus a little bit of that tart that you get from sour cream. Combine it really well before adding it to your casserole dish. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in here. Go ahead and bake it off. Come right back because I want to teach you how to make the most gorgeous crispy skin salmon and so much more. So we'll see you in a minute.
Come back to the Goya Kitchen at J.A. World. Michelle and the food. This is SoFlo Taste.
I'm design expert Elena Capra, and after Michelle, join me for SoFlo Home Project here on Local 10.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. All of my recipes, including today's, are available on the SoFlo Show's webpage. Just scan this quick response code for immediate access to fabulous SoFlo Show's page. You'll also see this QRC on the ingredient list throughout the show. Now back to the food. So I wanted to teach you how to make a beautiful seared salmon. I know some of you don't love skin on your fish, and some of you do love skin on your fish. So I'm gonna cook 2 with and 2 without in the same pan, but I wanna show you how we chefs cook a beautiful sear on any fish. So I'm gonna use cast iron. You can also use nonstick, but remember, if you're going into a hot oven, which I'm gonna do, nonstick is not really the best choice to go into like a 400-degree oven. Usually nonsticks don't like more than about 350 degrees, but I love cooking in cast iron. I'm gonna cook in a combination of grapeseed oil and a little bit of butter. We're not doing a shallow fry. We're sauteing, we're searing. We don't need that much fat. And what I love about the butter is it helps with the caramelization, but it also tells you when to add in your fish. So let's go ahead and start seasoning everything up. So for the skin side down, I'm gonna go ahead and season it on the flesh side. Salt and pepper. I'm not gonna get too fancy with this, okay? Let's just do salt and pepper for our first round at proper searing. And while this cooks, I'm gonna show you how to make a beautiful, simple sauce for your fish. All right, so the butter is nice and foamy, which is telling me that I can go in. If you were using just oil, you would wait to see a little bit of smoke, just a little bit of smoke coming up off the oil to tell you that it's safe to put in your fish. Because what are we most worried about? Stickage. If you notice, I have my skin side down on paper towels. Why? Because you need the skin to be really dry to get a good crisp sear on it. So let's go ahead and put two this way. For the skin off, which I removed, always sear only the presentation side, which is the prettier side, because you have the bloodline where it sticks to the skin. So this would be the prettier side on the cut side. So that's the side we're going to sear. So it's the opposite of the skin. The one thing you want to do, especially since I'm using cast iron, this is called a fish spatula. I'm going to use that to make sure that I'm not sticking. So I'm just going to give it just a little push and pull, just to make sure, see, not sticking at all. This one stuck to the side, so I just want to move it over a little bit. Now that I've been searing for at least about 1.5 minutes, I'm going to go right into the oven, and I'm never going to flip it over. okay? Because I only want to sear one side. So let's go into an oven near the top of the oven because that's the hotter part of the oven. All right, that's only going to need to cook for a couple minutes. So let's jump right into the vinaigrette for it. This is a beautiful kind of a salsa verde-ish version of a beautiful sauce for our fish. A little bit of chili flake. We're going to take parsley, dill, and tarragon. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm just going to use the leaves from the top. I'm rolling them all together. And I'm going to go ahead and slice really thin and use that for my vinaigrette. All right, next I've got some beautiful pomegranates, which you can buy cleaned, but I really recommend buying the whole thing and taking the seeds out because nothing is more fresh than that. By the way, that gorgeous salmon that I just threw in that oven, that salmon is from Delaware Chicken and Seafood Market. Remember, seafood is in their last name, so they've got the most incredible fresh seafood, every single kind you can imagine. Just call them, 954-983-6831. Go to DelawareChicken.com or just walk in, take a look. You won't believe. You're going to go crazy. You're going to buy too much. I buy too much. I love them. They're at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. Tell them I sent you and send them my love. I'm adding a little bit of good everyday type of extra virgin olive oil to that. A little bit of lemon zest and lemon juice. Let's say the zest of 1. And then let's go ahead and use the same one, cut it in half, and juice it. Okay, the only thing we're missing is a little bit of salt and pepper. I know I added red crushed chili flake. Mix that up. Let's go ahead and see how our fish is looking. And this is how I like it. This fish is almost medium. Let's check one out, the one that has the skin. Look at the golden color. This is about a just medium, this fish. If you wanted to cook it more done, by all means. This is skin off. What do you prefer? Let's take a little spoon, top each one with some gorgeous pomegranate vinaigrette. And when you come right back, our last dish is beautifully refreshing and you're gonna love it. So come quick. We'll see what's cooking on SoFlo Taste right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. As I am every week, I'm coming to you from the fabulous JA World. It's a great educational venue for our kids. For more JA World information, visit jasouthflorida.org or call them at 954-979-7100. Now back to something good for your Passover. Now check out our gorgeous mushroom kugel. Let's go ahead and scoop a little piece out of this so we can see all the goodness. So pretty. I think this would really just go well together. This has creamy, beautiful earth tones. This is bright, citrusy with those little bursts of, the pomegranate fruitiness. Just so yummy. All right, so the last thing I really wanted to make today was a bitter green salad. I love bitter greens. They're so seldom that I actually get to make them, and it's the perfect time of year to do just so. So let's start out with the vinaigrette and then we'll work backwards. A little bit of shallot. These are just some tiny diced shallots. Let's put about 3 slices of lemon into this. And then it needs something to adhere to, the oil to adhere to actually emulsify. So let's add some Dijon to this, but just the tiniest little bit. One of my favorite vinegars of all, sherry vinegar. And then, of course, a little bit of honey. All right, It needs salt, is the best time to do it, and a little bit of pepper. Let's start whisking. And the best thing to do is to throw a napkin or towel underneath the bowl so it doesn't move. This is extra virgin oil, but it's kind of like an everyday oil where it's not too spicy, and I can see little by little the vinaigrette is starting to thicken or emulsify with the addition of the oil. I'm not going to add much more. That's about it. It's nice and creamy. It has that honey mustard. Let's go ahead and build this salad. I've got Belgian endive, which you can just go ahead and break off leaves. You have to break off the top to do so. And as you take the leaves off, you have to cut it down a little bit more every time so that you get these gorgeous leaves. Then we also have some red Belgian endive, which I happen to find has a little bit more bitterness, a little bit more bite to it, but also delicious. Okay, I also have dandelion greens, 2 colors of dandelion greens. These are beautiful. They look almost like beet greens. You want to cut the bottom off. I would actually cook the bottom, personally. I think they're just delicious. Now let's use the green dandelion. I actually grow a lot of these. They're quite bitter, but really, really yummy. So let's put some down here. And then finally, I've got radicchio, one of my favorites. So let's put some of the radicchio, maybe cut them in some smaller pieces like so. And this can go here on the bottom. Then, of course, we have beautiful citrus right now. So I've got a mixture of caracaras, which are this gorgeous color, or the regular oranges, tangerines, and of course some blood oranges. I'm just going to make these in nice big slices like so. Now, I thought that this salad was kind of begging for like a nut or something with a little bit of oil and fattiness. So rather than going with a nut, I decided on sunflower seeds. They're delicious on salads. I buy them roasted and salted, ready to go. And I just think that they're delicious. A little caracara. All right, when you come right back, we will dress this beautiful salad, top it with some sunflower seeds, and see how this turns out. So I'll see you in just a few. SoFlo Taste will return right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste, and of course our last Passover dish. First of all, I haven't even dressed it, but look how beautiful my bitter green and citrus salad is. So we've got this gorgeous honey mustard vinaigrette. Let's pour over, or I should say spoon, delicately over our salad. All right, I brought along some fresh harvested dill because I think dill would be so yummy on this salad. If I've gone overboard, just stop there. And then of course the salted sunflower seeds for a little crunchy. And there you have it, a beautiful salad for not just Passover, anytime. You can eat this anytime with anything or on its own, and you can put a little goat's cheese on there and have some fun. I sure hope I gave you some new recipes for Passover, or that at least I gave you some of my twists to your family's traditional recipes. Try them, please, as I always say, because they're good anytime. Next week, I'm getting ready for another spring holiday, Easter. I'll be hopping down the bunny trail with a whole basket of recipes perfect for your Easter celebration. That's next time on SoFlo Taste. Let's say good morning to Elena Capra, host of SoFlo Home Project. Good morning, Elena. What have you got for us next on SoFlo Home Project?
Hi, Michelle. Good morning. So today we are at Design Edge. Coming up on SoFlo Home Project, we are going to take you into this trade-only event to get a sneak peek at what designers get to preview as some of the latest in home furnishing, accessories, art, decor, and more.
Okay, my dear, we'll be watching. So Taste Buds, thanks for watching, and please take care of yourself, and I'll see you next week. Stay where you are for SoFlo Home Project. So goodbye. Oh yeah, since it's April 1st, my crack production team tells me they put together some bloopers for your enjoyment at my expense. Actually, I'll bet they had a hard time finding any. Okay, here they come, our April Fool's Day clothes. Goodbye, good taste, and good grief. You need to season it because mine doesn't have any seasoning in it, so I'm gonna add, oopie, oppa! I think 1 lemon should be enough. Help. Thank you. Who am I and who are you exactly? Heavy cream, oh my God. Sorry. Milk? Yes. Let me put these things down. Oh my God. Whoopsie. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. You guys ever thought about doing a bloopers show? Happy Pesach.